He believed his badge made him untouchable, a shield forged from authority and fear. But as the courtroom doors slowly closed behind him, he felt something unfamiliar crawl up his spine. The woman standing across the aisle didn't flinch, didn't look away, didn't beg. Her calm was unsettling, almost prophetic, as if she already knew how this would end. Papers rustled, the judge adjusted his glasses, and somewhere in that silence lay the moment when power would finally be tested. What happened next would not only dismantle a man's arrogance, it would expose a truth buried for years, waiting for the wrong woman to pull it into the light. Before the story unfolds, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Tales of Kindness, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of truth. For years, Officer Grant Holloway had walked through his city with the confidence of someone who believed rules bent for him. His uniform carried weight, his badge opened doors, and his reputation silenced questions. Complaints had surfaced before, whispers of intimidation, of lines crossed during late-night stops, but each time, the system absorbed the shock and returned him unscathed. Supervisors vouched for him, paperwork vanished, and witnesses grew tired of fighting a wall that never cracked. Grant learned quickly that consequences were for other people. He believed it so deeply that it shaped the way he spoke, moved, and judged the world around him. Maribel Reyes had once believed in that same system. Years earlier, she had been a community outreach coordinator, helping families navigate legal trouble and teaching kids to trust institutions meant to protect them. That belief shattered the night her younger brother was pulled over by Grant Holloway. The stop ended with bruises, charges that never stuck, and a warning delivered with a smile that told her exactly how little recourse they had. Her brother healed physically, but the fear lingered, and Maribel's faith died quietly in a hospital waiting room while she filled out yet another ignored complaint. Instead of giving up, she changed course. Maribel went back to school, working nights and studying law during the day. She learned how systems protected their own, how language could be twisted, and how patience could outlast intimidation. Every exam she passed, every case study she absorbed, carried the same silent purpose. She wasn't chasing revenge, she was preparing for accountability. By the time she stood in court years later, she was no longer a hopeful advocate. She was a meticulous attorney with a memory sharpened by loss and a resolve hardened by time. The case that finally brought them face to face seemed ordinary on the surface. Another complaint against Officer Holloway, another civilian claiming excessive force. Grant walked into the courtroom relaxed, barely glancing at the opposition. He expected a routine performance, technicalities, delays, dismissal. But as proceedings unfolded, the atmosphere shifted. Evidence appeared that had once gone missing. Body cam footage surfaced, carefully preserved. Medical reports aligned too precisely to ignore. And then there was Maribel, presenting each piece with quiet clarity, never raising her voice, never dramatizing the pain behind the facts. Grant felt the room change before he understood why. The judge leaned forward more often. Jurors watched the screen instead of him. For the first time, his badge felt heavy, not empowering. Each documented incident connected to the next, forming a pattern too consistent to dismiss. The woman he had once dismissed as powerless now guided the narrative with steady hands, exposing not just one mistake, but a history of abuse shielded by silence and fear. As the days passed, the trial peeled back layers Grant had never expected to face. Former colleagues testified, some reluctantly, others with visible relief. The system that once protected him began to distance itself, choosing preservation over loyalty. Grant's confidence eroded, replaced by something raw and desperate. He realized too late that intimidation held no power here, that Maribel's strength came from endurance, not authority. For Maribel, the courtroom was both battlefield and closure. Each exhibit reopened old wounds, but it also stitched them differently. She wasn't just fighting for her brother anymore. She was standing for every complaint buried, every voice dismissed. When the verdict finally came, it wasn't dramatic in sound, but it was seismic in impact. Accountability arrived not as vengeance, but as truth acknowledged aloud. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed, but Maribel barely noticed. What mattered was the quiet moment afterward, the knowledge that one badge had lost its false invincibility. The ruling didn't erase the past, but it shifted the future, reminding the city that power without integrity eventually collapses under its own weight. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that courage doesn't always roar but often stands silently until the right moment, please like, share, and subscribe to Tales of Kindness. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them. And before the ending, we invite you to comment below. Tell us what this story made you feel, or share a moment when truth finally prevailed in your own life.